Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the JMPRO2K podcast. Obviously, I am the only JM, and I have two great special guests this week for episode 3. And the first guest I'm going to introduce is one half of the tag team Reboot exclusively to Friday Night Live. He is also a former JMPRO2K Cruiserweight champion from Season 3. None other than Seth Schmidt. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing good.
Great to hear, great to hear. The other guest is somebody that if you have followed JMPRO since almost the very beginning, you know who this man is. He is the JMPRO2K Executive Vice President. He is also the Saturday Night Showdown General Manager and the leader of one of the top stables in the community, The Last Call. None other than Donnie Dumps. How you doing, Donnie?
Yeah, forget about it. I mean, I can't believe it took till episode 3 for Donnie Dumps to be on here, but I'm here, yeah, I mean, forget about it.
Well, Donnie, you were doing a lot of stuff. You were doing some crazy stuff. Not many people know this, but this is straight out of kayfabe, IRL. I mean, you were on the Chris Jericho cruise ship when this show premiered. So, obviously, you couldn't make episode 1, and you barely were back when episode 2 came out. So, that's a lot of the reason why this is your first episode.
Oh, thank God I was on episode 2. I didn't want to hit 30 minutes of that bullshit. Forget about it.
Well, if you guys want to get straight into it, we'll get straight into it. I'll ask Donnie first, obviously, because he's got a strong opinion of it. But what did you gentlemen think about episode 2? We're going to call it the exclusive Dragon's Lair episode of the JMPRO2K podcast with Chris Malenko and Crimson Black. Donnie, you first.
What did I think about it? You already know what I thought about it. I mean, forget about it. I thought it was 30 minutes of pure garbage. You know what I mean? Just spewing the same thing I've heard over and over again. He knows where I am if he wants to ever settle the score, and Donnie Dumps will leave it at that. You know what I mean? Forget about it.
All right, we'll move on to Seth Schmidt. Seth Schmidt, you were a former member of the Dragon's Lair last season. This year you have a brand new look, in a brand new image, and you're also a long time away from your run while being a member of the Dragon's Lair. So how did you feel about hearing Chris Malenko and Crimson Black 2 weeks ago on this show?
If you want my honest opinion about that podcast, honestly, I was kind of falling asleep during it. I heard everything, but it didn't stick into my brain.
Fair enough. And Seth, since we have you answering one question, I'm going to get right into it with you. This past weekend, it was you and your partner, Tyler Clark, taking on the Fallen, who are the number 1 contenders for the JMPRO2K Tag Team Championships. You defeated the Fallen via countout, and then immediately was attacked by the Order after the match. We got to ask you, how were you and Tyler feeling after that matchup?
Tyler, I'm not going to speak on him. He's been a little distant recently. After the attack, I think he did get a little bruised up from Alex stomping on him a lot. But me, I got choked out. Couldn't really breathe right for the next 10-15 minutes. I mean, I'm fine now, but cheap shot from behind, wouldn't expect anything less from the Order, honestly.
That's a respectable answer, and I gotta say, with everything going on in the tag team division since it's formed here in season 4, obviously the Fallen holds on to their rematch clause after losing the titles at the draft lottery special to the Order. But since the season has started, you and Tyler have had 2 successful matches with wins. You've beaten the Last Call during the draft lottery special. Then you have gone on and beat the Fallen this past Friday on Friday Night Live. So is it safe to say that you feel like after that contract clause, after that match has happened, that you and Tyler are in a good contention for the tag team championships?
Definitely. Especially if the Order keeps a hold of him, because as you saw last week or Friday, we beat the Fallen in our first ever match against them. Did the Order do that? I don't remember. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they didn't. So, I mean, the Fallen beat them, we beat the Fallen, so that just means we're better than the Order. Statistically better than the Order.
So pretty much at this point, you're saying it's gonna have to culminate into a matchup, because until you and the Order actually face, nothing's definite.
Exactly.
All right. And then moving right along, I mean, in 2 days, we have JMPRO2K High Spot episode 2 about to air. And Tyler Clark has been one of the surprise contestants in that tournament, and he's moved on to round 2, which we're gonna have this week. Obviously, it's your tag team partner, longtime friend, Seth. So he's going one-on-one with a former JMPRO2K Cruiserweight champion in El Fuego. How do you think Tyler Clark is going to fare this week?
I've been in the ring with Fuego. I've been in the ring with Tyler as a tag team, and we've trained with each other on numerous occasions. Tyler's got a power advantage over Fuego because, well, I mean, he's kind of bulkier. But Fuego has the speed. So it's really a toss-up. It could go either way. But I got to root for my tag team partner. So I got before the match, at least. But Tyler definitely has to bring his A game for that match.
Very respectable answer. Appreciate it. And this is going to be a question that goes to both of you. We'll start with Seth, since he just finished that last answer. There was a lot of drama between multiple members of the JMPRO2K roster. Seth, you were one of those people. There was some beef on Instagram between you and some other individuals talking smack to Giovanni Salazar, who is one of the rookies in JMPRO2K this season. And I was wondering if I can get your thoughts on that whole situation that transpired earlier this week.
Honestly, I fed into it because he was looking for clout. I was like, fuck it, let's give him some clout. Let's put my opinion out there. And a lot of other people, I'm pretty sure, thought the same exact thing. Someone in my words a little bit. But I said, fuck it, I'll bite. Let's do it.
And Donnie, we've already spoke about this situation earlier. I know you had some opinions about this, so just to get your take on the situation when you heard, the beef between multiple superstars in the community and Gio Salazar, what was your take on that?
How do I feel about the situation? I mean, forget about it. This is how I feel about the situation. Every single person that's on either roster Friday or Saturday needs to keep proving themselves and prove something to Donnie Dumps and JM himself. You want to get up in the card, you want to do your thing. That's how you do it right there. Yeah, I mean, forget about it. So Gio, next time Saturday Night Showdown comes on air, you will have a match with an opponent Donnie Dumps is choosing in a good old-fashioned Providence street fight. Forget about it.
All right, sounds good right there. We're gonna move on.
Damn, too bad I'm not on Saturdays.
Hey, be appreciative that you get drafted to Friday Night Live. That's all I can say. But moving right along, Hallie Flynn made her JMPRO2K on-screen debut, and
as a manager.
And this is going to be a question for both of you. Seth, obviously, you have a unique situation with the Flynns yourself. But Donnie, this is the first time that you have ever had to manage more than one Flynn. There's obviously Dahlia Flynn this season, another addition to the women's division, I should say. Then our women's champion is Rose Flynn. Has had a great season in season 3, and has continued to work it out this season. But then the introduction to Hallie Flynn this past weekend showed up on Friday Night Live for the first time and kind of helped.
She stole the match from her opponent on Friday.
That's very true. Stole the match from her opponent on Friday. Well, help Rose steal it, I should say. And then assisted Rose to the ring on Saturday as well. So, Donnie, I know that there's been a little bit of a social media exchange between you and Hallie Flynn. Can you elaborate more on that and how the situation grows? And you're the EVP of the company and the general manager of Saturday Night Showdown. How do you feel about Hallie Flynn finding this loophole so that she can assist Rose to every brand that Rose chooses to go to as the champion?
Hey, if she wants to have one foot in the door of retirement and be a manager, you know what I mean? Go ahead, by all means, forget about it. You can do that. If Rose needs the assistance, which apparently, seeing Friday and Saturday, she must, you know what I mean? Forget about it. Then she can continue to do that. When she wants to step in those ropes and step in the ring and actually compete and show what she's got inside that ring and get that foot out of retirement, then she can hit up JMPRO2K management, you know what I mean? Forget about it.
And Seth, like I said, you got a unique situation with the Flynns. So when Hallie showed up on Friday Night Live, that's your brand. How did you feel when you saw her backstage?
I kind of expected her to be backstage. I mean, she follows Rose everywhere. They're like that package deal of wherever one goes, the other follows. So I was expecting her to be there. And I mean, her helping Rose out for the victory, that to me that was a shock because like I didn't expect her to actually hop in the ring real quick. But yeah. You don't know everything's gonna happen.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna go to the back half of the show, and no offense, Seth, a lot of these questions are appointed to Donnie. We will get your opinion on them. We got to go right off with it. We saw you post some stuff on Instagram literally a few hours ago about a former talent here in JMPRO2K known as JJ Ramirez. Donnie, do you want to elaborate on that situation and what made you repost the release notification and all that type of stuff?
Well, first off, I mean, JJ Ramirez leaving JM Pro is not the biggest loss in the world. I mean, forget about it. Secondly, I posted that stuff because, honestly, it's hilarious to Donnie Dumps. I mean, forget about it. I love that fucking promo. It's great. He knows it's great. He can deny it all he wants. You know what I mean? Just like he changes his name every day of the week. Forget about it. But I posted that because he wants to reply to my story with some stupid shit. And I haven't talked to you in months because honestly, Donnie Dumps, you're not even on his radar. You know what I mean? You're not even on the same planet. Forget about it. Donnie Dumps is an entity on another fucking level. The last call level. Forget about it. And that's all I got to say about that. I mean, we know what it is. You fell down, and you want to blame somebody. Don't blame Donnie Dumps. Look in the damn mirror and blame whatever name you're going to call yourself. Forget about it.
And before I move on to Seth about this, I'm going to just have to clear the air myself and just literally state publicly why this happened. And I'm really sick of the fact that Ramirez is continuously hitting up members of Jam Pro about different things, stating different things, and it seems like a desperate attempt to reach out to me. And the reason that I have not spoken to Mr. Ramirez since the mutual parting of ways, it really is just because when he was booked at the draft lottery special, I was under the assumption I was getting JJ Ramirez. He notified not just myself, but made it very public that he wanted Jaden Ramirez and JJ Ramirez to be separate characters. I will be breaking kayfabe with this explanation. I apologize, but when I approached him about this and asked him if I could just have the call that was from season 3, that's a former JMPRO2K world champion, he made it seem like that was impossible and that he wanted to work the storyline that was in his head, and he really wasn't budging on the matter. And on top of that, I'm not going to state exactly what he said. I will just say that through different parts of the conversation, I felt a lot of arrogance and cockiness from his responses to me about the situation, and he really didn't seem to really sympathize with my my angle on the whole thing. So I just chose to mutually part ways with him on creative differences, and if he doesn't remember what he said or how it was worded or anything like that through that conversation, that's not my fault, and I'm not going to apologize for that. All I know is that JJ Ramirez, Jaden Ramirez, whatever he wants to be called, I can't keep up with the multiple dimensions of the character or characters. He has not made any part of that clear, and I will no longer continue to sit here and guess. I am a booker that has a show, and I am responsible to the viewers that watch my show to make sure that everything is clear and they can understand what they're watching. And a character that changes their identity every other week is not something that is very clear to the audience. So that is why we parted ways. I'm not going to speak on that situation ever again, and I'm just going to keep it at that. So, Seth, I will allow you to be the last person to comment on the situation if you want to. You don't have to.
I honestly think the whole situation's hilarious. But that's just me being the cocky little asshole I am, but...
Okay. That's all we need. Moving right along. One of the last few questions I have for the both of you would be the development after this weekend. Donnie Dumps made a lot of changes to the Saturday Night Showdown roster, and us at Friday Night Live, we really only had one new addition. That's really it. And Friday Night Live, we gained BDT, but Donnie on Showdown, you gained both Wade Franklin and Christian Maniac from FOF. So how are you feeling about your Saturday Night Showdown roster?
I'm feeling a lot better than I was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, forget about it.
Right.
I wonder how BDT's feeling after Friday night. Yeah, I mean, he met the Outcast.
Well, that's a topic we're going to get into in a little bit here, but besides all that, I mean, Seth, you're a member of the Friday Night Live roster as one half of Reboot. How do you feel about the two rosters if you compare them on paper?
At the beginning of the draft lottery, definitely Friday night had the more stacked roster. And then you had Saturday night, who could have used a little bit more bigger names, but potential. There was potential. But like after Friday and Saturday, I mean, Friday did gain BDT. It's a big name right there. But on the other hand, fucking Saturday they stepped their game up from the other week, pulling fucking Wade Franklin and Christian Maniac, right? It's Maniac.
Yep.
They fucking stepping their game up. I would give props to you, Donnie, pulling that out of your fucking ass somewhere.
They forget about it. Props to Hannibal for stepping his game up last Saturday too. Yeah, it's a name to watch.
Yeah, honestly, that wasn't on the agenda, but that's actually a great thing to bring up. I gotta say, since I've been doing JMPRO2K, the Christian Maniac Hannibal match has had to be the single greatest match in JMPRO2K history. I mean, there was no belt on the line. There was no repercussions on the line. These were just two men signed to one roster, and they put their heart and soul into that match. A great shout out to Hannibal, a great shout out to Christian Maniac. And I felt like after that match ended, I didn't really, in my opinion, there wasn't a loser. Even though Hannibal won, and respect to him for winning that matchup. A lot of respect for him. He was definitely the underdog once Christian Maniac's name was announced, but I got to give a lot of respect where it's due. Hannibal came out victorious in that matchup, but for both of those men to put on a main event for Saturday Night Showdown like they did, that was just incredible.
And there's more to come. I mean, forget about it. Wait till the next episode. It's gonna be even better.
I mean, that's one hell of a mark to make, but if you believe your roster can do it, I can't wait. I guess the only thing left on the agenda is the controversial 10 count rule in JMPRO2K, and both you men can comment on this. Obviously, Donnie as EVP and GM of Showdown, you're gonna have a lot of sway in this decision. But JMPRO2K at this point is literally considering changing their count out rule to a 20 count system. So we saw on Friday Night Live this past weekend 2 count out matches. And Seth was part of one of them, the first one of the night. Seth and Tyler Clark Reboot defeated the Fallen by countout. And then, was it 2 or 3 matches later, Gabriel Gates defeated the Twitch champion Shane Frost in a non-title matchup by countout, but still earned himself a shot at the Twitch championship. So he's going to get to face Shane Frost a second time. I'm going to start with you, Seth, before I get into Donnie's answer. For you coming out victorious on one end of these matches, how do you feel about the rule, and do you feel like it should be changed?
All I'm going to say is I'm going to use words Donnie said on commentary. A win is a win. Whether it's pinfall, submission, knockout, count out, I'm fine with the 10. Like, not only did a win, but if you can keep him outside of the ring for a count of 10, I mean, that's 10 whole seconds, give or take.
So the main question I'm asking you is, do you think it should be changed, though? That's the question.
Coming from a professional standpoint, I would change it for title matches. Keep that whole thing interesting where it's not count out one title matches. But like in normal matches, I mean, I kind of like the whole, it could end in a count out, it could not.
Okay. Fair enough answer. All right, Donnie, we're going to end it with you, man. What do you think? The 10 count rule that we currently have in place, and we even seen some matches on your show Showdown this past weekend that almost did end up in a count out situation. Do you feel like it should remain at 10 count? Do you think it should be something like Seth recommended where special matches get special circumstances? Or do you think we should just completely change to a 20 count system?
Not any dumps. Things that we should stay at the 10 count. I've won numerous times because of a 10 count. You know it's a 10 count. It's always been a 10 count. Learn to count to 10. Make sure you're inside the ring. I mean, forget about it. Save the 20 for Japan.
All right, there you go. You heard it from the EVP of JM Pro himself, Donnie Dumps. You've also heard it from a former Cruiserweight champion and one half a Reboot, Seth Schmidt. Their opinions on that. And yeah, gentlemen, we went through pretty much everything on the agenda tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close it out. But before that, I'm going to let each of you plug your own social media, all that good stuff. We'll start with Donnie.
Yeah, follow me on Instagrams at Donnie Dumps 401. I mean, forget about it. And also check out the JMPRO2K YouTube page. You can see season 1 through currently we're in season 4. I mean, forget about it.
All right, Seth, what do you got?
My personal is at Schmidt Misfit, and the company that I'm trying to help build up, it's Rage.Rebellion, and you can go check out the Rage Rebellion YouTube page. There's a show coming up this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of your favorite talent has theme songs put up, including Donnie and The Last Call. Go check them out, give them a like, give them a comment, do whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I appreciate you joining us here for episode 3 of the JMPRO2K podcast. Everybody, appreciate you for listening. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us at JMPRO2K on Instagram and Twitter. Search JMPRO2K on YouTube for our official YouTube channel. And then we stream on Twitch exclusively at twitch.tv/theonlyjm. And then, of course, you can get all of our information straight from jmpro2k.com. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and we will catch you here next time.